Hi everyone, welcome back. Naji here. Now last video we have discussed about RAG pipeline and we discussed what is data injection and we also discussed what is the retrieval process. Okay. So in that video I have mentioned one important thing, right? The context we provided to the LLM is very important. For a POC level application or for a demo purpose, our last video is well and good. Okay, for a few documents it will work well. But when it comes to the production level, or if you deploy those kind of a rank application into production, so we may be start getting lot of questions, right? So most of the questions we used to get is something like, okay, the data is there in the document, but why I'm not getting the correct answer? Or people may say that, okay, why is LLM is not giving me the correct result? Okay, even though data is there. Okay, so people may start blaming on the LLM, right? So many times it is not the problem with the LLM, but we know that even the best model, best LLM model will fail to give us the correct answer if we fail to give the correct context. Okay, so in this video, we are actually looking into three important problems that can happen in a basic RAG applications. So in this video, we are not trying to fix that, but we will analyze and see what is the problem with respect to or what is the problem that we face when we implement the basic RAG application. Okay. So now let's see my Visual Studio Code document here. Okay. So let me see if I can zoom it little bit. Just a second. Okay. Okay. So let me select here this. Okay. Now this is a simple RAG application. Okay. So here we can see some kind of a document. Okay. This is a hard coded document. Okay. Then we have the embeddings are there and we are using the in-memory queued run client. Okay. And I am defining a client here, a collection here. Then we will be using the vector retriever, queued run store vector retriever. Okay. Then what we will doing, so we will asking some kind of a query and we are trying to retrieve the data from the queued run database. Okay. That is our vector database. So first let me go through this document. Okay. So here we can see under the standards approach, the CET1 capital ratio was 11.5 for Q4 and 141.6 for Q4 and 14.6 for Q4, right? 9.6 for the Q4. Okay, this is some dummy database I have created. Now let's execute this. Okay. So the execution is progress. We have our vector DB is ready. Okay. Now I'm going to ask a question. CET1 capital ratio of 14.6 percentage. Okay. So this is a question that I am asking to the I'm trying to retrieve data from the vector database. Now let me execute it. Okay. So if you look on these answers that we got from the vector DB, so actually we are doing some kind of a similarity search here. Okay, this we discussed in our last video. So here we are getting something related to 11.5 that we are getting, 9.8 that we are getting 141.6 that we are getting. Okay, but we have asked about 14.6, right? So if you come here, we can see that it is already there in our database. So in our the vector DB, we can see that 40.6 is there, but our vector DB failed to retrieve the data. Okay, and imagine if we give this into the LLM, so LLM will never able to give the result because we are giving the wrong context to the LLM. So this is the one usual problem that most of the application is facing. Okay, now we can look into another RAG problem. Okay, now consider, so this is also like a same in-memory kind of a thing that I'm using. Okay, so there is some kind of a hard-coded documents are there. Okay, I'm not reading from the PDF or something like that. Instead of I'm just giving the hard-coded values because to generate some issues, I have to give some kind of hard-coded values. Okay, now here we can see I'm creating a document, and if you analyze the document, here I can see we can see that, okay, employees receive 20 days of paid annual leave, leave each calendar year. And here we can see the standard annual vacation allowed 20 paid leave. Okay, so these two things are look same. Okay, so here is another case. Every employee is entitled to 20 days of paid. Okay, this is also same thing it is talking about. And here also we can see the same kind of a duplicate result. And this is these two documents are little different. Okay, now let me execute this. I'm executing. Okay. So this kind of a scenario is very common when we extract the data from our PDF, right? So duplicate content may exist in the different documents. Okay, so that is the scenario that I'm trying to simulate here. So data injection is done. Now I'm asking about what is the vacation policy? What is the vacation policy and how do I handle unused days? Okay, so this is the question that I'm asking. Now let me execute it. Okay. Now here we can see the rollover unused vacation days into next year. Submit HR. Okay, this is the one relevant information that is retrieving. But when we come to here, we can see that the standard annual vacation allowed is 20 paid leave. Okay, and here also it is saying that employee received 20 paid leaves in the same calendar year. So if you look on these two things, okay, this is exactly not saying exactly duplicate, but this is a kind of a duplicate information that we are giving to the LLM. Okay, so instead of that, think about like we are removing all the duplicate content or similar similar chunks from the vector DB, and we are giving different unique chunks to the LLM that will give more context to the LLM, or it will able to generate more relevant document to the LLM. For example, consider like if instead of, okay, in this case it is bringing this kind of a information at first, but consider if it is failed to give this and all the three chunks are with this information, right? Then LLM will definitely fail to give the exact result, right? Okay, so this is the second scenario. I hope this scenario is also clear. Okay, now I need to talk about a different scenario, the third scenario, third failure case that we need to discuss. Okay, so here the same method that I have followed, and you guys can see that there is a set of what we call the set of documents are there. Here we can see the page content and same hard-coded values. Okay, so let me execute it here. Okay, now I'm going to ask which institution was found to be non-compliant with the required liquidity rule. Now let me execute it. Okay, so here we can see the question. Let me ask the read the question. Which document was found to be non-compliant? Okay, so it is asking about non-compliant. Okay, so if you look on here, okay, so this all the document is talking about the complaints. Okay, so we have only one criteria is there that is talking about the non-complaint. So here we can see document violation. Okay, so this is the one that we are expecting to get in the retriever, in the vector retriever query, right? But unfortunately, we are not getting that result here. Okay, so that is also a problem. So we have seen three common scenarios where RAG will fail. Okay, so in that case, we have to do some kind of a fine tuning to ensure that we are giving right context to the LLM. Okay, I hope you guys understood the problem, and in our coming videos, we can discuss about how can we solve these three problems. So that is all about this video. Please do like and subscribe. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.